for Peace. Good to have you with us. So what's your take on all this? How reliable do you think these reports are?
Well, I would not be at all surprised if there were U.S. forces on the ground in Pakistan already. I'm flashing back to the late 1960s and the situation in Vietnam when our government and our military said we have to go into the Cambodian areas where the sanctuaries are, where the training facilities are, and eliminate those to make it safe for the U.S. military. And, I mean, it just seems like the U.S. doesn't learn their lessons, that these things just seem to escalate. We go into situations very easily and find ourselves stuck there with no way out, and it's always a bad ending for all those involved, U.S. military and, of course, the civilians on the ground who are indiscriminately killed by these drone attacks.
Now, Pakistan being a nuclear power, do you think the U.S. is taking a risk by sending troops into its territory without their permission?
Well, I actually think that the U.S. government does have permission of the Pakistan government and leaders to be there, although Pakistan, from what I understand, is denying this. So I think there's a lot of underhanded stuff going on that most of the citizens of both countries are not informed about.
Now, the U.S. has been hammering Pakistan's border regions with drone attacks for a long time. Why do you think that Islamabad continues to tolerate it?
Well, I think it distracts them from some of the other things that are going on. I know Pakistan and India have had an ongoing disagreement for a long time, and I think that it all plays into the hand of the government trying to play each other against the other halves and try to maintain their neutrality when they're dealing with both sides, I think, unofficially. And it's just not a good situation for the U.S. to be involved with.
Now, despite best efforts, the Taliban remains a force in Afghanistan, despite the 100,000-strong U.S. presence there and coalition presence there. Do you think they may overextend themselves if they bring the war across the border into Pakistan?
I think we're already overextended now. I've talked to numerous veterans who are in the military now, and some of them are on their third and fourth and fifth tours overseas in Iraq or Afghanistan. And the military, according to some of the Pentagon people, are very close, if not at their breaking point. It just seems to me that we are putting these people, the military service members, into difficult situations repeatedly and not giving them enough time at home to decompress, to kind of realize what they've gone through, what they've experienced, and process that. It's just we keep throwing them back into the war, and unfortunately the U.S. military is the only segment of America that's being asked to make any sacrifices, and that has to change. The U.S. cannot win a war if it does not have the support of the American people, and we're hearing that at least 60% of the people do not think that being in Afghanistan is a good thing, and I'm sure that number would be of similar for going into Pakistan.
If the Taliban, though, and the al-Qaeda-linked forces that are in Afghanistan keep hopping across the border whenever they perceive a threat, don't you think there needs to be some agreement between or arrangement between the coalition forces and Pakistan in order to make sure that they can pursue them?
Yeah, sure. I think that would be the ideal situation. Unfortunately, we know that things are far from ideal. And like I said, it reminds me of Vietnam in the late '60s. The bad guys come across the border into South Vietnam and do their raids and attacks, and then go back across the border. And we are unable to pursue them because of treaties or diplomatic situations. And until that changes, it's just going to be a stalemate. But I agree that there has to be some kind of more working together between the U.S. NATO forces and the Pakistan forces. However, the Pakistan government does not seem to be very forthcoming in trying to expedite those relationships between the two military forces.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Michael Marceau, Vice President of the Washington, D.C. chapter of Veterans for Peace. Good to talk to you.